Hi, I'm Fred DeCicco. I am a partner at Pollack, Isaac & DeCicco, a full-service law firm here in New York. I handle and run the firm's real estate commercial law department, which deals with all real estate and commercial matters in New York, New Jersey, and the metropolitan area. One area of concern to many of my clients, especially my clients who hold investment properties, is the capital gains treatment on the sale of these properties and ways that these capital gains taxes can be deferred. And one way in particular is found in the IRS Code Section 1031. Section 1031 allows for tax-free exchanges of investment properties. First, in order to qualify as an investment property, the owner of the property must have held it for investment for 2 years out of the 5 years immediately preceding the sale of the property. So, if you use the property as your home for 3 years or 30 years, and then you decided to use it as investment property, as long as it's used as investment property 2 of the 5 years leading up to the closing, it qualifies as an investment property. So if you have an investment property and you've held on to it for a while, the chances are that you will have a profit when you sell this property. And the chances are also there that you will owe potentially substantial capital gains taxes when you sell that property. Section 1031 of the code, the IRS code, allows you to sell that property, and instead of you having the proceeds and paying capital gains on the proceeds, you can substitute for that property a replacement property. The code is very specific on how you accomplish this, and if you don't follow the rules carefully, you will not get the benefit of the tax-deferred treatment of your capital gains. But if you follow the rules, you can defer your capital gains into the next property, pay no capital gains on the sale of your current property, irrespective of how much in profit you have earned. Section 1031 requires that you identify up to 3 properties to the IRS as potential replacement properties within 45 days of the closing of the sale of the property with the capital gain in question. Then you must purchase one of those properties within 6 months of the closing, or 4.5 months after the end of the 45-day period. You cannot use any other property as a replacement property other than the 3 properties you identified and advised the IRS of. When you do a tax-free exchange and you sell your property, the proceeds from the sale do not go to you. They are transferred to a qualified intermediary, which is an entity approved by the IRS to hold the proceeds to use those monies to acquire the replacement property. So, let's do an illustration. You have a property that you've owned for many years. You paid $100,000 for it, and today it's worth $400,000. You want to sell it for a variety of reasons, but you don't want to pay the capital gains tax, at least not now. So what you do is you, first of all, have your tax preparer and your attorney work together. A qualified intermediary is hired. The qualified intermediary's fees are somewhere between $1,000 and $2,500. And these are entities which hold the money in an insured account until you're able to purchase the next property. So in my hypothetical, let's assume the next property is also purchased for $400,000. Remember, these are just illustrations. In that situation, if you identified that replacement property within 45 days and closed title within 6 months, all of the gain from your first sale, which in my hypothetical is $300,000, is deferred into the next property, and you pay no capital gain. Now you have a new replacement property, which you can continue to hold. And if you hold it for investment for 2 out of the 5 previous years prior to the sale of that property, you can do another exchange. So the idea here is that working with the right professionals, a good tax preparer, or the person that you're comfortable with who's worked with you on your tax returns, an attorney who works in this area and has done many of these tax-free exchanges and has working relationships with various qualified intermediaries. If you have that team working for you, you could put yourself in a position where you have your capital gains deferred, and then over time a decision could be made with your replacement properties. So this is something, again, that's been of interest to my selling clients more and more over the past few years. I believe it's a function of the fact that property values have gone up fairly steadily over the last 10, 20, 30 years, and also a function of the fact that corresponding profits create corresponding tax liabilities. So this particular vehicle, which I have just summarized in this conversation, the actual transactions may be a bit more complicated, but not more complicated for us to handle because we've handled all types of 1031 exchanges. This is something that may be of use to you in the future, either as an existing real estate investor or someone who wants to become a real estate investor. Again, I'm Fred DeCicco. I'm one of the partners of Pollack, Isaac, and DeCicco. I run the real estate commercial law department. I hope this talk has been of help to you, and perhaps someday we'll meet and I can be of service. Take care. Have a great day.